It's time for Fridays with AI, where we ask AI to rewrite Philly sports history. Every Friday, only on This Day in Philly Sports History.
That's right. It is Friday. It's time for Fridays with AI, brought to you by Philly Goat. Go to phillygoat.com. Get geared up for the Eagles, the Phillies postseason run. Sixers and Flyers are around the corner. Union are about to go on a playoff run. Philly Goat has you covered. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off of your order. All right, so figured why not stick with Temple football? Owls won the other day, 42-10 against UMass. Another team I don't really like too much at all. But I said, AI, what would have happened if Temple somehow held on to win that game in Notre Dame and AI did not disappoint? In reality, the Temple Owls lost that game 24-20 when Deshaun Kaiser hit Will Fuller with a fourth quarter touchdown late. But what if the Owls stopped them on that defense or on that offensive drive? Well, AI said, all right, let's say they break up the pass and somehow get the ball back, whether it's a punt, turnover on downs, whatever, however they got the ball back. But AI said the way Temple was moving the ball there in the fourth quarter when they were coming back, they would get into field goal range, kick a field goal, and then stop Notre Dame on that final drive, because at that point, Notre Dame would have had to come down and score a touchdown. Owls would win it 23-17. But what does that mean for the season? Because in reality, the Owls kind of crumbled as they could never really recover from that loss, the emotional letdown. Well, they'd be 8-0. They would move up because Notre Dame was ranked in the top 10. Temple would be ranked number 10 in the AP poll, highest ranking in school history, and they would be the talk of the college football world, the Cinderella story, kind of similar to Boise State. They called it, or AI called it specifically Boise State-esque. Certainly would have been in the college football playoff discussion. Them and Houston were heading into that Notre Dame game anyway. AI says they still dropped the game like they did in real life against South Florida on the road. But due to the confidence of beating Notre Dame, beating Penn State, just playing lights out on defense, their confidence would be higher, and it sets up an epic American Conference championship against Houston with a New Year's Six bowl on the line, which essentially it kind of was anyway, but the Owls had two losses, so they were looking to spoil Houston in real life. But feeling good with the way the team had been playing, the Owls actually come out and win a thriller against the Houston Cougars to win the American Conference Championship, earning themselves a New Year's Six bowl, going to the Peach Bowl to take on Ole Miss. They ended up ranked number 7 in the final regular season AP poll. And then in the Peach Bowl, Ole Miss jumps out early, 17-0, but the defense adjusts at the half and shuts down Ole Miss as the offense comes alive. P.J. Walker and Jahad Thomas lead the way. Robbie Anderson gets into the act with a touchdown as the Owls upset Ole Miss 27-24, finish the season 13-1 and number 6 in the final rankings. But more importantly, this helps with recruiting. A lot of those players that would be going to Penn State, be going to Rutgers, decide, you know what, I'm going to stay in the city and go to Temple. And Matt Rule ends up staying an extra year because essentially he doesn't have to settle for the Baylor job because he's brought recognition to Temple, got them into the national conversation. So he eventually does leave, but he holds out for another year or two because he's not like going to the situation that he had to go to in Baylor. Temple, due to their success in the New Year's Six Bowl, the Peach Bowl, they were in the conversation for Big 12 expansion. Maybe they get in, maybe they don't. But if they get into the Big 12, of course, that changes the whole outlook on Temple football. So had they won that game against Notre Dame, it would have had huge implications. I mean, in reality, losing that game still had pretty huge implications for the Owl. But AI says if Temple would have beaten Notre Dame, they likely would have ran the table and got into the Peach Bowl. But what are your thoughts? Could that have happened if they beat Notre Dame? I mean, back then, if you'd have told me Temple would have hung tough like they did against Notre Dame, I would have said you were crazy. So who knows? But that is Fridays with AI, brought to you as always by Philly Goat. Go to phillygoat.com, use that promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off of your order.